Here we go. Nicole Dumont here from Elite Fitness Team. I'm here with the beautiful Jennifer Nestor. She has lost 45 pounds in her elite coaching program. How are you doing today, Jennifer?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Nicole.
You're welcome. So basically, we're going to chat with Jennifer. I have a few questions to ask her. She's going to answer, and then we're going to go from there. Sound good?
Yeah.
Perfect. So the first question I have for you is, what were your top 3 struggles in regards to your weight, health, and fitness before joining my program?
Before joining EFT, my top 3 struggles were, 1, like the inability to lose weight on my own without gaining it back. I've gone through multiple weight cycles throughout my life. I've been up and down for the past 10 years. I consider myself like a healthy person who is eating super clean and, working out a lot, all different types of activities, but not being able to lose weight. And then secondly, over exercising to try to lose weight because those things were not working. There were days where I was working out 2 hours at a time, and still not seeing any results. So I felt almost like a failure, trying to do it on my own because I wasn't seeing any type of change. And then, yo-yo dieting would be the third, and doing extreme types of diets to try to lose weight since nothing else seemed to work. So those were my 3 struggles. And obviously, your health suffers when you do those types of extreme diets. So I figured it was time to really get some coaching help from experts that know a little bit more about this than I did.
Yeah, you made some really good points, and I was just talking to somebody on Facebook today with that exact, she over exercises about 2 hours a day, like you said, actually, about a half an hour in the morning and an hour and a half later in the day. Mm-hmm. And she's asking, does changing your food actually really help that much? And I'm like, yes. Yeah. It happens a lot. It's something that's really bizarre because most people just think, I'm going to eat somewhat healthy, I'm going to exercise a lot, and then the weight will come off. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. Eating healthy isn't enough. You have to eat strategically, as you've seen, as you've experienced in the program. I have so much going in my head, and when I have a million things going on, I stumble a little bit. Yeah, so the eating healthy, you could be eating all the proteins and the fiber, the fruits, the vegetables, the this, the that. You get on the scale and it's up a pound. That's probably what happened to you. And then you go right to the yo-yo dieting. What kinds of extreme diets did you try?
I tried everything, I would say. Keto, HCG, really extreme diets like 500 calorie diets, things you should not do. I'm going to throw that out there for anybody watching this. Just restricting food completely for days in my younger years. So I think there was even a point where I tried diet pills. Everybody was doing that at one point. So none of those things worked, obviously, and it never taught me what to do and what not to do. So I was left feeling like, what's wrong with me? Why is this not working for me? And then I would go to the doctor, to my primary care, and beg them to run a bunch of blood work and test and hormone test, and something is wrong with me. And I, unfortunately, that's how society has made women feel, that if you're not a certain size or a certain whatever, that, that it's you're the problem. So I went to the doctor, and every time they ran blood work, nothing was wrong with me. They couldn't find anything. My hormones were fine. And I think just the frustration in that, and just feeling like, well, what is it then, really led me to seek additional guidance from you guys.
So, our program at Elite Fitness Team and my meal plan system it does combine both structure and flexibility. But it's not an all-you-can-eat buffet. So
Right.
what was it about my meal plan system or program that changed the game for you to lose 45 pounds?
I think I loved how easy the meal plan was. And since I'm an organized person who likes structure, having the list of options for me, it was almost black and white where I could look at that and say, okay, here's the master list of things. It gave me guidance on what to do. And then also like still gave me the flexibility for traveling, because that's something that I'm passionate about, that I do a lot. I think I've taken about 8 or 9, maybe more trips since being with EFT. And, at first it was easy because I had the list and I knew what to bring. And then as I went through the program, I learned more about like how to measure things with my hands and the snack part of things and the timing of the meal. So that was all really helpful. And then also for your program, like learning that it's not about just what the scale says. The non-scale victories was huge and is huge for anybody that's a part of this program, because it makes you think outside of just a general number about yourself and makes you like celebrate wins that you might not have done on your own if you were going through the process and didn't have that like mindset change.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy that you enjoy the non-scale victories, because I think in life we have to stop and look at the whole picture. Maybe one day I'll design a program where nobody's allowed to weigh themselves on the scale. So that it's all about inches lost, non-scale victories, how your clothes fit, getting stronger, all that stuff. I've thought about it just because the scale does cause some mental issues when it goes up. But that's where the troubleshooting questions come in, right? Because we want you weighing in for a weight loss program because you have to have something to measure, right?
Right.
Especially if you want it to go down and it's for your health, mental and physical health. So that's where the troubleshooting questions come in, and they help you with your day-to-day weigh-ins, right?
Right.
So it's like, talks about digestion and menstrual cycles and sodium. This list could help you no matter what diet or program you were on, right? And I love your story because we've worked together for a while now, and we've had to have a few breakthroughs. There was a moment in time where I'm like, girl, you really have to look at those troubleshooting questions. And that brings me to the next point. You have to get real with yourself every single day. Right? That's the difference between this program and say just joining Weight Watchers online. Right? They just teach you to count points. And when the scale goes up, you get frustrated and say F it and throw everything away and just start the whole cycle over again, where you have the failure feelings. You start over exercising again. You start yo-yo dieting and going to the next extreme diet. And that just never works. Never, ever works.
Either like from a long-term perspective, which I feel like the things that you've taught us in this program are more realistic and sustainable over time. So that's a big difference between this and like Noom or Weight Watchers or any of that, what I like to call crap out there, that doesn't really teach you the right tools for success from a long-term standpoint.
Perfect. Well, this makes me happy. I love hearing this from you, especially because you are so analytical. And so anyone that analyzes the SHIT out of everything, I appreciate, because I know I'll get the truth and the honesty from it. So thank you for that. So the second question is, what are your top 3 wins? So including, your 45-pound weight loss. What are your top 3 wins?
I would say that losing over 45 pounds and doing it in a slow and consistent way with guidance from an expert has been a win for me. Another win has been the mental changes and transforming how I think about food and exercise in a more healthy and sustainable way for me and, my mental state. And then I would also say learning so much about my body and understanding my body's reaction to specific foods and how that then translates to the number on the scale. You had mentioned the troubleshooting questions earlier, and I think that those were a big part of why I felt that win about understanding like what my body's reacting to. And I know that you know that throughout this program, I've had health challenges like with my stomach and my gut. And that was frustrating because, I was losing weight slower than maybe an average person. And that's kind of how I felt in the past before coming to this program. But then using the troubleshooting questions and understanding, that it could have been the types of foods I was eating really helped me like get through it. And it felt like a overall win for me to take charge of my health in that way.
I love that. And I'm writing a few things down as you do talk. Because what you're saying is pure gold, because, accountability is huge. I mean, if no one's watching, you'll probably just go back to your old ways, right? Until you've really learned some new tools, and built those habits over time. And then the way you think about food. So the first thing is, what was your favorite part of the accountability? What was the most helpful piece of the accountability?
Knowing that I had like a support partner, like if I needed to ask questions on specific like foods or, why the scale did something one day and like I couldn't figure it out just through the questions, like having your support throughout the day was really helpful in the beginning, specifically because instead of me sitting with that information in my head, I had someone that would be real with me and like give me the truth instead of just sugarcoating it. So I really appreciated that.
It's kind of like your weight loss Google.
Yeah. Or a guru or something.
Guru, Google weight loss person. So I'm interested to know, like you said, this program has helped to the way you think about food. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I think before I started the program, I had a really bad relationship with food in a sense of like, if the scale went up one day, the next day I would eat less. Or if the scale said I gained X amount of pounds overnight, I would freak out and be like, why did this happen? I didn't do anything wrong. I've been eating perfect. And, it was really, challenging to handle all that on my own and not have any answers. Whereas with this, I could look at the troubleshooting questions. And for example, maybe it was my cycle and I'm in the luteal phase and I'm emotional and I'm a mess and, all that stuff might be going on. And I didn't understand that phase of your menstrual cycle could also impact the scale no matter what you're doing, even if you're doing everything in quotations right.
Amen, sister. Us women have to work a little harder at everything, don't we?
Yeah, and I think we even had quite a few of conversations during that time of my cycle in the beginning for the first couple of months of just like the frustration.
Yeah, and I'm used to it, right? That's why I'm like, are you in your luteal phase? Because I have to tread lightly with my ladies throughout the luteal phase. Because I'm a lady too, and I got serious PMS. So I totally get it. And I know Wayne has to deal with me, and I have to deal with my clients. So, I've learned from him how to deal with me. So I'm better with my girls because he's so good with me. You mentioned something about the way you look at food, and it sounds more like, how your behavior when you see the scale go up has improved. And I think a lot of people, you before joining the program and other women out there, you feel like a failure, but I just want to point out, you're not a failure. You just didn't have the right tools.
Yeah.
Right? Because so many diets out there aren't giving you any tools. They're just saying, cut all your fats or cut all your carbs or cut all your calories or join this fitness class. I'm like, it's just, I feel like my program is more brains over bronze. A lot of programs out there are using the bronze, right? It's like, how about we just cut all your carbs and make you over-exercise. That's
Yeah.
just, that's not gonna get anyone anywhere.
Fix.
Yeah.
It's a quick fix and it's not realistic.
And sometimes it's not even a fix. It's
Mhm.
just another situation to make you feel like a failure and make you go crazy, right? So having the right tools in your toolbox will help, and then you have those for life now, right?
Mhm.
So, and that's the other plus, is like, instead of just, joining or starting a diet, not having any tools, you're done with that and you go to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
But you've already basically hit your goal, and now you're
Mhm.
just, mastering your maintenance.
Yeah.
And, I think, yeah, I remember you said you wanted to lose 25 to 35 pounds, and now you're down 45.
Yeah.
So you lost even more than you thought you were going to after years
Mhm.
of over exercising and trying all these diets, which is crazy, right? Like,
Mhm.
crazy amazing. So when you have the right tools, you can have the right outcomes.
Yeah.
And your mental health, you struggled with mental health. Can you explain a little bit more about that part of the journey?
Yeah, I think it was more like the anxiety and fear of like never losing the weight, like trying all these things that I possibly could and feeling like I wasn't getting to that goal and then blaming myself for it. That there was, again, something wrong with me, something wrong with my body. And the more I thought that way mentally, the more physically I was stressed and things were not happening because I held all that cortisol and stress and anxiety. And that was another thing I learned on this, program and journey, is that for me, the stress was actually a big part of why I wasn't able to really lose weight at that time, because I didn't know how to manage it. I didn't realize that that was a big problem at the time. And I really learned that about myself, like throughout the troubleshooting questions. And I could tell on days now where I have a lot of adrenaline or cortisol or whatever the case might be. And then the next day, the scale might say I'm up, but now I don't worry about that like I used to. It's completely changed where I know now why these things are happening. So it makes me feel like I'm a little bit more in control of myself and what's going on.
And that is a ginormous piece of the puzzle,
Yeah.
because that's, again, having that control and that self-awareness will keep you on course.
Mm-hmm.
So that's huge. I love that. Question number 3. What is your favorite thing about your program?
It's hard to pick just one, but I would say I love how easy the meal plan is and the amount of choices that are involved in the meal plan, because it doesn't feel restrictive, especially for someone like me with my type of background and history. This was something that I felt was, again, like sustainable, long term, and I felt confident that I could do it with the right coaching and support and guidance.
Perfect. Well, I love that for you. Because with the meal plan system, I always want to, I don't want my clients feeling restrictive, right?
Right.
Because I know what most women have gone through, because I know I'm literally a last resort. Nobody wants to actually work hard and like learn new things and like do the day, like learn the self-awareness and all this stuff. No one wants to do the slow and steady approach. No one wants to ask the troubleshooting questions to themselves every day. But it's better than like going on a new quick fix for a week, getting off for a month, trying another one for a week, and being heavier 3, 6, 12 months later, right?
Yeah.
So I love that you feel that way. Number 4, what are 3 ways your life has improved by joining the program?
Yeah. Number 1 would be my mindset is more positive. And I feel like my relationship with food and exercise has improved over time because of EFT. 2, I feel like now I have the tools to succeed, and I feel more confident in my ability to like make healthy decisions for myself and my body. And then lastly, I've learned so much about what foods don't digest well for me because of the troubleshooting questions and monitoring like what foods I eat with this program. I've learned like what foods I'm sensitive to due to the simplicity of the program and all of the questions that you provide. So that's been a big change too.
That was thank you for reminding me. There was another thought that you provoked with the meal plan, and especially with you having the gut issues and some slight insulin issues. A lot of stuff was happening there that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
And I want people that are watching this and yourself for future reference, it's not about cutting out whole food groups. Like, I know the keto community is huge. The carnivore community is huge. Vegan, vegetarian. I think women especially, we like a sexy name put next to the diet. It makes it sound a little sexier and exciting, but it's not. You know, some people may have to get rid of, say, milk out of their diet, but yet they can have Greek yogurt. You know, some people might have to get rid of Greek yogurt, but could have cheese. So it's not that you don't have to, get rid of whole food groups or go like extremely extreme, you know what I mean? But with what you've done through the program is you've learned just very specific foods that work for your body. You know what I mean? Like you can't cut out all fruits and vegetables. There might be just a couple that cause you bloating. Right?
Yeah, a good example would be like for me specifically, when I first started the program, I was drinking non-fat milk. And then I realized that after I would drink the milk, I would not feel good. I'd have like stomach upset or issues, symptoms that won't be named. And then so I tried to switch to almond. I had the same problem. And then now the milk that I've found for me personally that works good for my body is like coconut milk, like unsweetened coconut milk. And that's been a huge change for me. And it's not like I had to cut out all, you know, like you said, like all milk on the planet, like, but that's what works best for me personally. So that's been really helpful.
Yeah, just detailing and getting down to the nitty gritty and figuring out what works for you both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. And then now that you've done the work, you know, moving forward, right? You know more about what works for your body. And now you know to investigate. If you eat something new, did that work? If it doesn't work for your body, don't eat or drink it anymore. And if it does work, add it to the list of yes. Okay, one more question. What would you say to someone who's watching this video right now, who is thinking about making a health and fitness lifestyle change, but is still hesitant?
Yeah. I think I'm a great person to answer this because I was really hesitant in the beginning because of all my history. I would say that change is possible and that the investment in your mindset and overall health is really worth it. It's also scary to make the change or leap, but if you follow, you know, Nicole and Wayne's advice, like you'll feel more confident in your ability to make those long-term lasting improvements and choices for your personal journey and for your body. So I think that's really important to note here, that you might be hesitant, but the results and the outcome will be more worth it than staying in what you're doing right now that's not working for you.
Amen, sister. And I mean, look at her face. Look how beautiful Jennifer is. And she's done the work and she has all the tools now, going from a yo-yo dieter to now in control of herself. Amen. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for coming on today and taking the time out of your busy life and sharing all of your wins and struggles and all the good stuff in between. Thank you so much. All right.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.